Fight!
What's going on, everyone? This is the Sportsmen. I'm Danny. That's Keith. And that's Corey over there. All right, let's talk a little. I want to specifically talk about injuries to fantasy football, like major point getters. Because this is like an unprecedented year so far. We've been seeing some serious injuries week in, week out. Some are multi-week. I feel like the IR is just a thing now. Like, it's just like a guy freaking twists his ankle, he's on your IR for 3 or 4 weeks.
You are unkind as a commissioner if you do not allow 2 IR spots at this point.
All right, so like I'm going to bring up a bunch right now, right off the bat. Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, Julio Jones, in and out. Saquon Barkley, Chris Carson, King Henry, the latest one. Jordan Montgomery, George Kittle, Jerry Jeudy. The list goes on. There's tons of guys.
Kareem Hunt.
Nick Chubb was hurt. That's like a 1 week thing.
But
I'm just saying he was hurt.
But in general, like these guys you count on.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So it's interesting that you bring up the injury thing. It kind of goes into, and I know you were talking about it privately with us, but it's like a draft strategy thing. Do you rethink your draft strategy now? Do you start to look at some of these players, because it happens every few years? There's like a turnover in the best players. Like this time 5 years ago, you were taking Jamal Charles and Le'Veon Bell and guys like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge turnover. And maybe longer than 5 years, because that was still like Zeke and shit.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Are we going to start to see that turnover? I know a lot of these guys are young.
For some of the guys I agree with, but some of the guys no. Like the people that now are going to get the question mark and concern are definitely going to drop, are like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon. Those names are going to drop. They are no longer going to. Saquon was barely a first-round draft pick this year. I think he's definitely dropping to a second round. And Christian McCaffrey is no longer going to obviously be, which is a tough spot to hold in fantasy football, the number 1 pick overall. But there are guys that like Derrick Henry, where you're not going to worry. This is the first time he's been injured in his whole career. Like, I'm not worried about. I'm still going to take Derrick Henry, probably the number 1 running back out of all the running backs.
But so you don't think it really affects his value
It doesn't affect his value as much, but other people like Dalvin Cook, who always gets hurt every year, and he got hurt this year. Those guys, I agree, it's going to start to have to play an effect. I think wide receivers now, because wide receivers aren't getting as hurt as much, like Devontae Adams is out due to COVID, obviously, but they're in there. The top wide receivers are all still there and still healthy. D-Hop is still there.
D-Hop's has been banged up a little bit this year,
but
he's played through pain.
Yeah, he's playing through. And he's been fairly consistent this past week when in their first loss, and it depends on when you're watching this video, but in their first loss against the Packers, he didn't play well. Neither did Kyler Murray.
No, Kyler Murray got hurt too.
But again, it is what it is. Every fantasy player is going to have an off week at some point. It's the nature of the
Travis
beast.
Kelce as of last week.
Yeah, seriously.
Travis Kelce, Tanya,
he's playing hurt.
Yeah, seriously.
They're all playing.
Tight ends has just been a horrible year.
Logan Thomas, dude, the list goes on. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think there has been one consistently good tight end besides, as of right now,
Hawk.
TJ Hawkinson's up there. But I want to throw Kyle Pitts now. It's finally getting the groove going.
He had an off week this past week.
Yeah.
The whole Falcons team just did not look that great this past week. Cordell Patterson looked good like always.
Cordarrelle.
Freaking bastard.
Okay,
Cordarrelle.
Good for him.
Who would have thunk
Good
it?
for him for getting a NFL.
Pick a position, dog.
I was saying the man.
Who cares? He's Tyreek Hill-esque where he plays every position.
The difference is Tyreek Hill was good when he was young. Cordell Patterson's been in the league forever. I've had him a million times. I've had every player that's good, that's old, when they sucked. Straight up. I had Devontae Adams every year, and he sucked. I had Cordell Patterson every year. I drafted Cordell Patterson the first year I ever played fantasy football. Couldn't get a kicker for him. Straight up. Like, the man was a horrible player. I had Stephon Diggs early in his career. Not that he was horrible, but he just wasn't putting up crazy numbers. Like,
yeah.
I had these things. But the only thing, though, is I had Fat Eddie Lacy when Eddie Lacy was good.
Yeah.
His one good year, I
Fat
dominated with Eddie Lacy.
No, so like
Cheeseburger Eddie himself, my man.
But to the original question, as far as like the change in the draft strategy, just to like close on my point, I feel like there are people that are now going to drop like McCaffrey and Saquon, like I said, but the people are still
About Dalvin Cook?
There are still elite guys that are going to go. Well, Delvin Cook, some people didn't take him leagues. Like, they had him X Factor ranked as the number 2 pick overall. And some people stayed away from him because of his consistent injury record of every year since he's been a rookie in the NFL.
He's missed 2 games every year.
Yeah, minimum.
Every year.
So I get why people didn't, and I'm one of those people who I was the number 2 pick in one of my leagues, and I jumped over Dalvin Cook to get Kamara, who is literally the whole fucking Saints offense as of right now. So, yeah. So Alvin Kamara probably next year, as of right now, is the clear-cut number 2 back.
Clear cut?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Clear cut? That's it?
100%.
Interesting. I don't know about
Considering the state of the Saints right now, still clear cut?
Yeah,
what if Taysom Hill takes over?
He's still the whole offense.
What if Aaron Rodgers goes back to the Packers? And where do you put Aaron Jones? I feel like Aaron Jones is on the rise. If
Aaron Jones gets no love.
Say,
he throws up 40-point games every year.
No love,
and especially if Aaron Rodgers leaves and Devontae Adams leaves that same year, that team's going to be
I didn't ask if they left. My hypothetical was if he stays.
Yeah, if he stays, then obviously he's still a top 5 running back at that point.
Obvious. You say he is now. He was never drafted there.
Is where you say you feel like Kamara jumps into the number 2, and Kamara could be taking number 2 any year, always.
Yeah.
But clear cut, I don't know, because like Danny said, if they don't have a quarterback at that time, like they don't really have a quarterback now.
They didn't have a quarterback now.
But they had Jameis.
But it works.
Yeah.
That's Sean Payton.
Yeah, well, I don't think it will work with Taysom Hill.
It's not going to just continuous, and it's not just going to continuously work. You need a quarterback.
That's what's going to suck. Is Taysom Hill's going to strip some of those rushing yards away?
Some of them.
Probably all the touchdowns.
No, don't like that one, man.
You know,
he's
like
just Cam Newton, you steal 14 touchdowns. From
But we were talking about draft strategy. Yeah, running backs usually are the cream of the crop, top picks, and it's the guys that were taken later, like Jonathan Taylor, Adam Jones, Joe Mixon. Like we're seeing these guys beast.
Joe Mixon gets hurt too.
Najee Harris, steady climb, not crazy, but he's doing
nice PPR.
In PPR, he's amazing. If he's in a non-PPR, he's not that good.
Michael Carter, as of last week.
Woo.
Leonard Fournette.
So, Leonard Fournette, he's climbed. But I want to touch on Joe Mixon. Because I was very skeptical. I'm a huge Joe Mixon guy. I always wind up with Joe Mixon. 2 years ago, he was the AFC's leading rusher. Last year, he couldn't buy a game to play because he was always hurt.
Always hurt.
This year, he looks really good. He missed a game this year.
Yeah.
And he's another one of those guys who gets hurt.
Yeah.
But I want to take this a step further now.
Uh-oh.
Guys that aren't hurt. Zeke. Does he slip with Pollard's involvement?
I don't know. Because Pollard's not like that guy.
But Pollard
He looks like he's that guy. They rely on him a lot.
So here would be my thing. I don't think that it hurt Zeke tremendously. I think Zeke will still be obviously a clear-cut first-round pick, and he'll still be a top pick at the end of the day.
You top 5?
I think top 5.
Not overall.
Not overall.
Because right now, this year, he was a fringe 5. Well, it depends on what board you looked at.
Well, it's funny, in the leagues that we're in, he was projected at 5, and Aaron Jones was taken before him in both leagues.
Yeah.
Because I ended up at the 7th pick with Zeke in one league, and then I skipped over Zeke to get Devontae Adams in the other league.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking Zeke in 2 leagues.
And
it really is different. I got Kamara at 7 in one league.
No, but that's the whole thing is that I think that shit, I forgot the point I was gonna make. You guys can go ahead.
Sorry, we stole your thunder.
You did.
We stole your thunder.
You'll get it back. I'm telling you, it's gonna hit you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another guy who's very disappointing, or I think he was supposed to do really good this year, Antonio Gibson.
Got my point back.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson. All right, take your point.
I got your point, then we'll go into Tony Gibson. So where I think about Pollard and Zeke is that Zeke will still stay a first-round pick, where Pollard is now like back when the Falcons had Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman both getting 25 points per game.
Not quite Chubb and Hunt, but climbing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that, Pollard's now gonna jump up to at minimum a third-round pick, probably. If you're getting
hell no,
no, because he doesn't jump Hunt.
You need your whole team, and you're going to take backups?
I take him over Hunt.
He's playing better.
He's playing better than Kareem Hunt.
No,
hold on a second, Corey. Hold on. You said third round?
Yeah.
You really need quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends? No way.
You're telling me you're not taking a person averaging 20 points in PPR fantasy football in the third round? You're going to let him slip? I'll take him then.
Pollard?
I'll gladly take him.
Yeah, because there's still going to be running backs there. that I would take over.
There's going
him.
to be starting receivers there.
Yeah, no. Nope, I don't like it.
Third round is early.
I don't like
And
it.
the guy who's averaging
That's
20
early.
points a
No.
game, yes.
Nope.
Fantasy, yeah.
I- In a timeshare?
I would rather take Kareem Hunt. And the fact that you said he would jump Kareem Hunt is crazy to me. Because Kareem Hunt is a better running back than Pollard on a better team or on a better running team.
That's not what Pollard's there for. Pollard's there for reception.
So is Hunt. And
That's what Hunt's there
and
for,
Hunt
too. That's what's crazy.
gets him and he can run.
And Hunt hasn't been, and because of how the Browns have played this year, is nowhere close. And I'm a type of guy
Hunt was.
of what have
Hunt
you
was
done
a
for me
beast
lately.
before he got hurt. He's just hurt.
He was only getting like 13 to 15 points a game.
He's getting like 25 points a game. I have him. I always have Hunt. Yeah.
I personally have always tried to stay away from committees the best, as far away from them as I can. I get it. You have Kareem Hunt, you have Pollard, you have these guys that split and they get their work. Yeah, there's no sweat. Like, you're going to take them because you know you're going to get production.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't have that luxury. I usually am not, like, I have other needs at that point in my draft.
Well, I got a question for you, and this is a where do you take him? Deandre Swift. Where does he jump to? Because he's gonna jump. It's just how far.
Was he a second round pick this year?
Third.
Mainly a third.
And
I
I would
think-
take Swift over Pollard.
I take Swift over Pollard.
Yeah, me too. I think he jumps up to where, like, Mixon was taken. Like, the Mixon, Gibson. Like,
Mixon was like early
like-
second.
Yeah, but the way back.
After
like, if you're-
Eckler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, if you're on the wraparound, he's not going to make it back to whoever had the first overall pick. Yeah, I think he's done. He's out of that second round. Like,
Yeah. And you know what it is too? It's the thing with fantasy. Like, we talk about all these guys dropping. Guys will drop. Guys won't drop dramatically because people choke and they see a name and they go for it. And as much as you want it to be, what have you done lately for me? And I mean, if you're a sportsman, you're obviously disciplined. But other people may not be as disciplined in the draft. Where you see a name and you choke, and at that point, it's not best player available or best player for your squad. It's best name on the board.
yeah.
It's Le'Veon Bell's still there.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. But there's only one other name I want to throw out there that I want to know where you guys are going to take him, because it's going to be the ultimate question of their running back coming back and possibly ruining things. Where do you take Henderson, Darrell Henderson Jr., next year when probably Cam Akers is going to come back now? Or do you take Cam Akers over him? That's still a pot. You could throw that out there too. What would you do?
Last year, they said Henderson was the starter and Cam Akers was the rookie. Henderson was the starter and played good. And they got banged up one game. And then Cam Akers came in. And they seen what Cam Akers could do with a full volume of work. Cam Akers is the better running back. He's there. Listen, if there's one thing I've learned from fantasy football, trust the Rams running game. It's always good. Always. No matter what. Now with Stafford, it's a guarantee. You're guaranteed production with that running.
Because more people are worried about the pass. I agree.
So I won a league last year where I had Akers and I cuffed him with Henderson because the Rams running game is that good. But the answer to your question is I think it's still Cam Akers. I think he's the back. It's so hard to say. I don't know where he gets drafted.
All right. So to answer your question in the simplest way I can answer it, it's very tough to say where they get drafted. This is something that you have to kind of watch a little preseason, wait until McVay announces what that offense is doing with them, and then decide where they're going to be drafted, because they're both going to be taken. I don't think anyone gives a shit if they say Akers or Henderson is the starter. They're both going to be taken. Again, one will drop depending on who's the starter, but if McVay comes out and it's like, it's going to be a 55-45 split, then I think it's tough to take any of them super high, because then it's a committee thing. Or even a 60-40 split, that's tough because
But we've seen that last year.
Yeah,
they
but
did
again,
that and then they got away from it.
Yeah, but then again, then you took Nick Chubb in the first round and then Kareem Hunt just came in and stole his game.
And that's the whole thing. You don't want the Nick Chubb that literally runs the 75 yards down the field and then has Kareem Hunt score the touchdown. That's exactly what you don't want.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing for
Oh, yeah.
drafting.
That was early Le'Veon Bell, LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
And then that was Deion Lewis, LeGarrette Blount. And then Jacob
Again,
White came in and
Blunt.
Blunt wasn't
My
here.
man.
Both of them smoking together. But
Seriously.
I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning into the Sportsman.
Wrap it up, Blunt.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you thought what we were talking about is crazy and we're not helping you out in fantasy, let us know in the comments where we're wrong. Make sure to check us out every time on Twitch, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/The Sportsman. We have all our other social media like TikTok, Facebook, Twitter down in the description below. And until then, we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Be good.
Enter my enemy energy element. I am an entity walking ahead of the pack. I really am out of my head, and it's evident that I will never be able to ever quit. Melanin